All right, let's try to fit this up here and see what we got. First glance, not too bad. Definitely gonna wanna trim this over here along the side. Mark where we gotta make some bends because I gotta cut this flange. Back there. First one. Whoops. My apologies. Well, we got a interference here. Cut that out. A little bit of interference. Interference. Don't want to have interference. All right, now we're getting somewhere. All the way back on this side. Need to make some marks along here. You know we gotta come a little farther in than that. So come in there about 1/8 of an inch. We shall cut that. I know this may be boring stuff to some of you, or maybe not to some of you. Maybe to some people, but if you're still watching, it probably isn't that boring to you. You probably want to see it. So, I know I like sitting and watching this stuff when other people do it. So, I figure maybe somebody like watching me do it. Alright. Alright. Now we're starting to look like something. Got way too much right here. Pause. Want that to push in there, you know, like that. Come on back out. cut a little bit more of this from this cut. We are fabricating, folks. We are cooking. That's good. Now that there has got to be trimmed. All that. And we will take a little extra there too, just because the tip of this marker adds a little bit. That was lucky. It fell into the abyss and then came out right back into my arms again. Just like Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. Right into his arms. You ever find yourself standing in front of the bathroom mirror, lip singing the songs? Me neither. Or do I? I'm gonna put some tape there. Why do I have these on? Leave them right here, right now. There is no other place I wanna be. Let me move this over this way a little bit. Flange is not tight. That's more better. More better. Oh yeah. That fits right in there. Just like it was made for it. This has a little bit of a curve, apparently that way. Pull this over tight. Yep, there's another place we gotta cut. Got a little extra right there. Might be kind of challenging, folks. Okay, so here's our pattern. It's actually fit pretty good in there. What we got to do now is transfer this onto our piece of sheet metal. Right? And okay, so here's our pattern we ended up with. Now all we got to do is straighten these out a little bit, and we'll transfer this onto our piece of sheet metal. First thing I want to do before I do that is to clean it. And the only reason really I'm cleaning it right now is to try to keep from ruining my paint pen any more than I have to. A little lacquer thinner. It's been laying here in my shop for a little while and got some dust on it, and it had some storage oil on it. All right. I like to do this as close to an edge as possible, just to reduce the amount of scrap that we end up with. All right. I'm actually going to use a darker paint pen, and that one is a brand new paint pen. Use the old blue. Blau if you're German. Was it azul if you're Spanish? That's all I know. I do know Kung Fu and a few other Chinese words. Taekwondo. And I don't speak it. I believe Taekwondo is Japanese. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I love y'all. Any of y'all Mike Murillo fans? I'm sure you are if you're watching my channel, because birds of a feather flock together. You seem to be, you know, if you're watching my channel, you're interested in the same kind of things I'm interested in. Yeah, Mike Murillo got some bad news for his health. And I just want to encourage you guys to go buy a t-shirt from him off his website. Help him out if you would. Let's see here. You know what? Let's put this back up here. What I need to do is transfer. I had to change my brake line up here. I had to add a little bit onto there and change my brake line to make it fit that top flange. So what I want to do is transfer my lines to this other side. How much room do you leave for the tip of a paint pen? Anybody know? About that much? You got it. All right. Oops, Put this one down here. How about that one? It's probably about a 32nd of an inch. 31,000, something like that. But I just got to where I eyeball it. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna add a little bit here because it was just a little bit more gap than I wanted for a weld line. I can always grind that to make that fit down there. Okay. What do you think? So we go to the shear? I think we should. Over at the old Harbor Freight Central Machinery shear brake and slip roll. I like this machine. It's an economical buy if you need one. And works pretty good. Now I can tell you we're probably going to have an issue. I haven't adjusted this in a while, but it does seem to wander a little bit as we get across farther away from where the shear starts. What we might do is try to take a smaller piece off. I do have a wrench back here, a couple of wrenches that I can use to adjust that blade. Stripper bar on, or a pad. That's actually what we refer to as a pressure pad or a stripper plate or something. Lots of different people call it different things, but it holds down on this with a little spring pressure as you're shearing it, just to keep it from kicking up. Also on something this long, I like to put a C-clamp on it. That'll keep it from walking a little bit. Try to keep it from drawing it in as it shears it. All right. See what we got. All right, went pretty well. Do that. Got a lot less to cut now. go. All right. Trade it out. We're getting down there closer. See if we can turn her off there. A little bit. It's about the max you want to cut with this. It says 20 gauge and it means it. And that's for mild steel. I've tried to cut 20 gauge stainless on this and it don't like it, because stainless is a metallurgically different type of metal. It's tough, hard metal, and it's kind of gummy. So it's hard on it to cut stainless. But 20 gauge mild steel, this thing will do it. You got to put a little bit of oomph on it, but you can make it happen. We just try to whittle it down as close as we can. Before we start, cutting all these sections out. We've already got our brake lines on there. So that's good. But now if you notice about this is on the opposite side. So if I broke that on this side, it would be, depending on which side, this would be opposite what it needs to be. Actually, it needs to be this way. So I got to transfer these brake lines to the other side so that I break this the proper way. Are you picking up what I'm putting down, folks? I think you are. Look at that there. Transfer that over. Transfer that over. I'm not breaking them right now. I'm just doing this so I don't forget. Because I have been known to forget. If you think while I'm talking funny, it's because I got the cap of this paint pen in my mouth like a cigar. A cigar. All right, I'm gonna go mark this with my scale. All right, so I have my brake lines transferred to the other side. I'm gonna fold that way and fold this that way. We'll be in business. But the first thing I gotta do is take all these down to the lines that I made. Okay, now I'm going to break this panel along these lines that I've laid out here and get it ready to test fit. Remember, this is the side we want to break this way, right? Got our long flange. Now, we need to break this small area, but you can't get in there. That's what's good about a box break. So, we can loosen up these. Put this in here. Hold it. You can adjust these dies wherever you want. Looks like what I need is this one and this one. Leave a little gap in there. Order you put these in, arrange them any way you want to. Alright, so let's hold the workpiece up there and see. That'll work just right. Like that. Now we have the other flange. Okay. Now we're ready to test fit our panel on the car. We still have to make these bends here and here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to cut this or stretch it. So you can actually have a shrinker stretcher. You can actually stretch this flange and curve those. So may be able to do that way. Over to my chair. Take a look. See what we got. All right, you can already see I got to trim a little off of the inside there. So make a mark. Quick cut. All right, popped up in there nicely. Now we can see. gonna have to do some more trimming on this flange edge here, which is no problem. We have the technology. Anybody ever watched a $6 Million Man? If you're old like me, you did. I know you. Okay. Now, I'll grind that little section down. I'm taking the whole line. I'm gonna get in here where you can see. I'm gonna take this whole line because it was on the outside of that flange. Just making sure y'all can still see. There like planned. Now, I gotta start making my brake right here. I'm gonna try to stretch this first. See, then if I stretch that and bend that way, this area here where it has this swooping bend, like right there, I can stretch. I can actually shrink, actually. Yeah, I'll stretch it here, shrink it here, and then stretch it down here again. Hopefully that'll work. All right, let's see if we can put this up here and make something happen. See what it's doing there? Stretching it. Stretching the flange and bending the whole steel. I'm gonna hit it one or two more times. Let's try that. See how it looks. Got a little ways to go. A little more. Okay, you can see got this piece fabbed up and pretty much bent the way I need it. I clamped it in there and then I went in on the inside and paint marked on this all the way down where the original metal is. And now I just got to pull this panel out and grind it back to that line, plus just a little bit to leave a spot to put my clamps in here in a few places. Not the whole thing, just a few places I'm gonna go a little bit more so that I can put my clamps in there and weld this in. So I've got my patch panel here. Got my patch panel, you know, all fabbed up, bent the way I need it to be. It fits in there. I put it in and I marked on the inside here. You can see all the way down where I need to cut this. and I'll just cut this back to that line because that line was made from the inside of the car. So if I cut back to that line and trim this back exactly on the edge of that blue line, this will be exactly a good joint with the existing firewall metal. So what I'm going to do, you can see I've got these little clamps here. I may have shown you these before that I got at Harbor Freight. I use these a lot. They're an inch long, so you can see these marks down through here. So what I'll do when I cut this back, I'll grind a little 1-inch section in every spot of this edge, enough to fit one of these, this thin blade of this panel in there, or panel clamp in there. And you just pop this, basically you pop this little piece of key stock out, and then you slide this blade in between the two pieces of panel that you want to weld together. Slide that in there, and then on the back side you slide this back in there, tighten up this wing nut, and it pulls both those panels together, one on this side, one on that side, and keeps them exactly right next to each other, level, so you can weld them up. And there's lots of other ways to do it. There's plecos you can do. You can use drill holes and put those in too. I have plecos too, but for stuff like this, I use these a lot. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go cut this out along this line, make my relief for my clamps, and then clamp this back in there, weld it up.
I am videotaping. This is my daughter Dylan.
I am taking Granny to meet me and Mom at her appointment. So I wanted to tell you because Mom won't be home after 12 or whatever.
Okay. Alright, good to tell me.
Love you.
Love you.
See, I've got all this ground except for this section here. That's a good flat section there. I can just shear that off without having to grind it. That's what we're going to do right now. Well, I can't really shear that off because I've got this flange here and I couldn't get close enough. It started cutting it, but it, like I said, towards this end of it, it doesn't hold quite as tight of a shear. So we're going to go ahead and grind that off. Just a little bit of grinding. I'm not going to put my respirator back on for this. I do things my way, which might not always be the safest way to do it. So do yourself a favor. Don't copy what I do. Find yourself the safest way to do it. You can get injured working on cars. All right, now I'm gonna grind a little relief from my panel clamps. Now that'd be a little difficult for you to see, but you can see they don't have to be very deep. I mean, those little blades are about 50 thousandths. So I just went in and made a little grind mark and then connected the dots between there. Got 2 of them here, 2 of them here, 1 here. I only put 1 there because that's a radius there. I mean, you should be able to pull that right up, and then this one right here. And if I need more, you know, I'll put more in, but this should get us close enough. You can see here where I had to cut these in order to take, because I had to change this flange from here to here because this dog leg of the flange on the car right down in this area, it actually curved from here, starting here down to there, it curved outward slightly. So I had this, when I first made this panel, I just flanged this whole side straight, but from here down I had to straighten it back out. You can see my old blue line starts here right in the corner of this bend radius, and it gets farther away. That's my old line down through there. So I made a new line to match how much this pitched out, and then I straightened all this out. I flanged it again, and then I put these bends back in there. So now we should be able to clamp this back up and weld it. They have to make some fine-tuned adjustments, but that's already, I don't know if you can see that, but that's right there. Perfect. It's a perfect joint right there where that matches up. Same here, all the way down through there. Folks, that's what you want right there. You want that to look like that. When we get done with this, you don't want it to look like it was ever worked on. And reel down there. Got a couple more clamps out of the car. Start putting my panel clamps in.